so we got some good news. The good news is slowly but surely, prices are starting to come down on Scats and Cats. Let me say that again. Slowly but surely, prices are starting to fall and drop on Scats and Cats, okay? A lot of these dealerships cannot maintain these inventories on their lot with the markups, right? They have to cut the markups in order to move the inventory. People are starting to get smart. People are starting to catch on. And the dealerships know that people are being patient. They're doing their footwork and they're doing their homework and they're comparing apples to apples, dealership to dealership. They're traveling out of the city, out of the state, getting better deals. And these dealerships know that now the consumer is significantly smarter. They understand what these dealerships have been trying to do. And because of that, a lot of these Scats and Cats are sitting on these lots with 10, 15, 20, 30,000 $30,000 markups, and dealerships realize they can't sustain that way. So they're cutting a lot of these markups. I told you it would take time, but towards the end of the year, as closer we get to 2024, the prices would start to fall, and they're slowly starting to fall. Just be patient. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So as you can tell, I'm in a car that makes this a car vlog. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. I've got car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you are in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So let's talk about it, man. I said this in a couple videos in the past, probably towards the beginning of the year, that it wouldn't make sense for Dodge to keep these astronomically high prices all the way throughout the year, right? As far as markups are concerned, there are some people that will pay it. Let's just be honest here. There are people that will pay 10, 15, 20, 30,000 over MSRP for a Scat or a Cat. It's sad, but it's true and it happens. The reality of it is that that's the minority, not the majority. Majority of people are gonna look at that and say, 70,000 for a Scat, hell no, see you later. 100,000 for a Cat, hell no, see you later, and walk away. And what happens is slowly but surely more people are going to start to catch on, and they're going to start to walk away. They're going to go in these dealerships and say, listen, I want a Scat for a reasonable price. I want a Cat for a reasonable price. And because of that, you know, it's going to be one of those things where they're going to look at the fact that there's a crazy markup on these cars, and they're going to say, no, I'm walking away. I'll walk away from this. I'll find another deal somewhere else. And that's what people are doing. More people, more consumers are finding better deals at different dealerships, dealerships outside of the city, dealerships outside of the state, whatever the case may be. That previous video that I did about the dealership that I'm working with right now, that we're selling Scats for taking $5,000 off the top and $10,000 off the top for Cats. So $5,000 off for Scats, $10,000 for Cats. A lot of you guys called that dealership and you made some noise, some serious noise. A lot of you guys put in orders, made some things happen, right? And a lot of you guys don't live in North Carolina. So for a lot of you, that's an out-of-town, out-of-state call right there. An out-of-town, out-of-state trip that you may have to make to come down and see the car, or to have it shipped to your dealership, or however that works. I don't know how the back end works. But the reality is that consumers are becoming smarter and they're catching on to what Dodge is doing. Dodge has been putting the markups on these cars like crazy since the beginning of the year because they're quote unquote last call. Last call 23s are just like 22s, just like 21s. Let's be honest here. If you put a Hellcat 23 next to a Hellcat 22, you wouldn't know the damn difference. I guarantee you. The only difference is when you pop the hood, it's got a little badge, a little emblem there that says last call. Me personally, I don't think that's worth another $10,000, $15,000 on top, but that's just me. What I'm saying is at the beginning of the year, Dodge marked up everything, Scats, Cats, and everything above that. A lot of people were upset and frustrated with the fact that they were doing that, and the fact that now these cars are being priced well beyond the average person's budget. Like, nobody should be paying $70,000 plus for a ScatPack. I don't give a damn how fully loaded it is. I don't care what it comes with. $70,000 for a ScatPack is unacceptable. You know, honestly, $100,000 for a Hellcat is unacceptable. $100,000 for a Demon, okay, I understand that. That's a one-of-a-kind car. $100,000 for a Demon 170, I understand that. That's a once-in-a-lifetime type of car. $100,000 for a King Daytona, no, sir. That's the exact same as a regular jailbreak Hellcat Charger with a graphics package. No graphics package is worth $30,000. You understand me? The Black Ghost, that Challenger that everybody's been talking about, I think it's dope. I think it's great. The fact that they're paying homage to the past and to, you know, the brother that used to drive that car, I think that's great. But $100,000, no sir. Why would I pay $100,000 for that when all you're giving me is the Dodge, the cheap ass Dodge emblem up front and a fake alligator skin roof? Same engine, same performance, everything else, but you charge me $30,000 over MSRP for that. No, sir. I'll take a regular Hellcat and be fine. So a lot of people are catching on. A lot of people are either holding on to their 20s, their 19s, their 18s, and not moving up, or they're doing their due diligence and their homework, and they're going from dealership to dealership, comparing apples to apples, as they should. And I've told you guys that. Don't just go into one dealership and just drop a stack because it's there. Whatever spec or whatever trim you want in a Charger or Challenger, you can find at another dealership. That dealership may not be in your city. That dealership may not be in your state, but you can certainly find it, okay? But you've got to be willing to do the homework, and a lot of consumers are doing their homework. So what happens is these new models, these last call editions, come to these dealerships, and the dealership says, hey, listen, 2023 Hellcat, we're going to mark it up $20,000, right? So instead of it being, I don't know, $89,000 out the door, it's now $110,000 out the door because they put a $20,000 MS markup on it. Well, people are walking in and seeing that and saying, hell no, I'm not paying $110,000 for a Hellcat Charger, right? The exact same Hellcat Charger from the previous year that was $90,000 last year, but it's $110,000 this year. No, sir, I'm not doing it. And they're walking away and going to different dealerships, right? That's one scenario. The other scenario is that a lot of people are going in these dealerships and saying, listen, I understand you want $110,000, but this car has been sitting, and I know this for a fact because this actually happened at one of the dealerships in Charlotte, and I know this for a fact. There was a 2023 Hellcat Charger wide body. It wasn't the red eye, it was just a Hellcat Charger wide body, and the dealership wanted $111 for it, $20,000 markup. That Hellcat Charger sat there for almost 2 months. A guy walked in and said, listen, I'm not going to pay you $110,000. But I've got a check for, I think he said 95 or 100,000 in hand. I've got cash in hand. I'm not paying the 110, but I'll give you 95. He ended up walking away with the Hellcat. So a lot of dealerships are looking at it like, listen, we tried to get the markup. It didn't work. This car has been sitting on the lot for the last month, 2 months. We've got to move it. This guy has got $90,000 in hand, $90,000 guaranteed cashier's check in hand. We need to go ahead and take this deal as opposed to waiting for somebody to come and pay 110. And that's another negotiation tactic. You can walk in there and say, listen, I don't have $70,000 for a Scat, but I do have $60,000 in cash right now, or I do have a $60,000 guaranteed check, cashier's check right now. I want this car. I've got the cash in hand. All we've got to do is sign the paperwork. You hand me the keys and that car is gone. You made your sale. A lot of dealerships will go for that because they're looking at it like this guy's got the money in his hand. Like we don't have to do any sort of crazy financing. We don't have to do any sort of crazy leasing or anything like that. He's got the money in hand. Screw the markup. Just give him the damn car. That's another negotiation tactic as well. For you guys that know what you want and know what it's worth, and you're like, listen, I'm not paying $1 over MSRP. This car has been sitting on the lot for the last 2 months. You can let it sit for another month and hope somebody will pay $120,000 for a Hellcat, or you can take this $90,000 that I got right now in my hand and we can shake hands and move on. A lot of dealerships are going that route. A lot of dealerships are saying, listen, you've got the cash. How does the saying go? I'd rather have the bird in the hand than the bird in the bush kind of thing. It's like you've already got the cash. You're showing it to me. Listen, take the damn car. We'll take the L on the markup. Right? That's another negotiation tactic that you guys can use. Have that cash in hand. And then another thing that a lot of people will do is they'll order these cars. They'll order a Hellcat jailbreak. They'll order a ScatPack, and then they'll cancel it. Right? And what happens is that the dealership will take the deposit, the down payment deposit money for the order. Right? And then what'll happen is, to my understanding, legally speaking, even if you decide you don't want the car, the dealership has to give that deposit money back. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But the dealership has to give that money back. And the dealership also gets charged for every car that's on the lot that's not moving. They get charged a certain amount, I guess, a day, a month, a year, or whatever. They get charged a certain amount of money. So they're taking your deposit and using that to pay the amount of money that, you know, they would normally have to pay to house that car on their lot. But considering it's a down payment and it's coming directly to you, that money goes straight to their pockets. Well, when you renege on that deposit or renege on that order and you end up taking your deposit back, now that car is just going to sit on the lot. They've got to move it ASAP because that car is costing them money and it's simply not making a profit at that point. It's just a hunk of junk sitting on the lot. So they've got to get that car moving somehow or some way. So a lot of these dealerships are motivated at this point, and they're going to be even more motivated towards the end of the year because they've got to move all of these damn cars. Now, I don't know what 23 or 2024 is going to look like for Dodge as far as their inventory. I don't know if it's going to be a complete switch, like, you know, January 1st, 2024, everything is Hornets and EV. You know what I'm saying? EV Chargers. I don't know how that's going to work, but I would imagine they want a certain percentage of the inventory gone by the end of the year. They want as many of the Scats and Cats and RTs, V8 Hemis gone as soon as possible, or at least by the end of the year. So a lot of these dealerships are going to play hardball with you, but in actuality, they've got to move this inventory, and they've got to move it relatively fast. They've got to move it before December 2023. You know what I'm saying? So if you can find a dealership that'll work with you, and I'm sure they're out there, I would say go with that, because there is a dealership. Trust me when I say,
that's not nice.
I'm not even going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to respond to that. But trust me when I say there are dealerships that will work with you and meet you on the level. You know what I'm saying? And act upon the square. There are dealerships out there that will meet you halfway when it comes to what your price is, your price range. They will work with you. I know a lot of people, hint, hint, that have walked out of dealerships with a Hellcat or a ScatPack right at MSRP. And it's frustrating because as many people that I know have walked out at MSRP, I also know a lot of people that have paid $122 for, I know somebody specifically that paid $122 for a Hellcat Charger jailbreak. I'm not lying to you. $122. You know, but then I also know somebody that paid right at $89 for that exact same Hellcat. You know what I'm saying? No markup whatsoever, straight MSRP. So it's just a matter of how much you want to negotiate. It's a matter of how motivated that dealership is. And it's also a matter of how patient you are. Like, towards the closer we get to the end of the year, the more these prices are going to start to drop, right? Once we get into the winter, the fall of this year, these prices are going to drop like crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start seeing Scats for 50, 55,000 like we used to see in the past. And to be honest with you, 50, 55 was on the upper end back when I bought this one, because I bought this one for 47. If I'd have saw this one for 55, I'd have been like, you know what? I'm good with my V6. I'm going to chill for a little bit. You know, we're going to start getting back to that just because they're going to have to move these damn cars off the lot. And surprisingly, a lot of people think that there aren't Scats and Cats on lots. There are a lot of Scats and Cats on a lot of dealership lots. Maybe not the one that you're thinking of, maybe not the one that's nearest to you, but there are inventory for Scats and Cats. Now, what I will say, as it pertains to Scats and Cats, one thing that I am noticing is that a lot of the slim bodies are the ones that are going for understandable or decent price, right? They've got a lot of slim body Scats and Cats on the lot that are going for decent prices, especially the Cats. Of course, everybody wants wide body. I get it. I understand it. I agree with you. Everybody wants wide body, but the reality of the situation is that, I mean, are you willing to pay an extra 10,000+ and maybe have to wait another 2 or 3 months to get your perfectly spec'd wide body? Or is a slim body at your price range with the same power, same performance, all that shit, is that okay enough for you? The wide bodies is in high demand right now. Everybody wants a wide body, and I get it. I understand 100%, and I agree with that 100%. But the slim bodies are out there too. And don't forget, a red eye is a red eye. 807 is 807. 717 is 717. 485 is 485, right? Now, if it's that big of a deal to you, I understand. Wait, get your wide body. If it's not, trust me when I say there are some good detailers or some good body mechanics out there that can turn your slim body into a wide body and nobody will know it. Trust me when I say I have seen wide bodies and thought that they were just OEM wide bodies. And then somebody says, oh no, it was a slim body and I got some work done. You would not know. At this point, I've seen people doing it, and the work is perfect, you know, depending on who you go to. So I say all that to say, guys, and shout out to OC Motivator, because I think he just did a video on this recently. I don't know if this was his most recent video, but he certainly did a video on this. And surprisingly, a lot of other YouTubers have done videos on this as well. But prices are slowly but surely coming down. And as the consumer, you have more negotiation power than you think, and more leverage than you think. Because, you know, time is of the essence, but time is more so of the essence for the dealership, not so much the consumer. Like, the dealership has to move all these damn cars by the end of the year. As the consumer, you can sit back and wait until the 11th hour and get what you want right at the, you know, the 11th hour. I hate to use that phrase again, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can sit back and wait until it makes sense for you. The dealerships, however, they got to move all these damn cars ASAP. So if you go in there and you know, have a very staunch approach in your negotiation tactics, you know what you want, you know what car you want, you know the trim, the spec, all that stuff, and you know the price range that you're willing to pay for it, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to walk out of the dealership with that. Like, I don't see dealerships turning people down at this juncture in the year. You know what I'm saying? Just because these cars got to move. They can't sit there. Sitting on the lot is not making money. Now, I'd rather have $60,000 of something than $75,000 of nothing. That's just my mindset mentality behind it. But guys, like I said, prices are slowly but surely coming down. Do your research, do your homework, do your due diligence, do your footwork. Don't be afraid to bounce around. Don't be afraid to go out of state with it, out of the city with it, out of the state. You know, don't be afraid, because the price is out there. The price that you want for the exact model and spec that you want is out there. It's just a matter of how patient are you and how willing you are to do the due diligence necessary to get it. If you're lazy and you just want it to be right around the corner, you're going to end up paying for it. If you're willing to take a trip and go get it, it'll work for you. As always, it's been your boy Knockout 360. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.